Okay, greetings everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I am Vorm, and this is Ostranauts. So yesterday we had a good long stream of Ostranauts and I learned a lot, got a lot of good experience, figured out a few systems, monkeyed around with a whole bunch of stuff. So today we're going to start fresh. Start fresh. I love starting fresh. New game, best game. So my intent is to be a little more organized, a little more knowledgeable this time through. I can better explain the game, the systems. I know kind of what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And I've had a little experience and practice with the various controls that are on offer. So I'm going to probably send this one over to my YouTube channel, so the fine folks over there can also have a look at Ostranauts. And so I'll be repeating some of the stuff we did. We're going to start brand new character, starting fresh, and I am going to go through things a little faster this time. It took quite a while to ramp up at yesterday's stream because didn't have the practice and experience behind me. So that's kind of the intent. So for folks that are new to the game and didn't catch yesterday's stream, Ostranauts has you playing a future corpo wage slave who's trying to get off that treadmill and become his own boss, be a ship captain. It's 2,700 or so years, or not years in the future. It's the year 2,700 something or other. The game is set on a asteroid, 1036 Ganymede. There is a space station attached to the asteroid that is going to be our home base, and it's also the home of a ship graveyard in the area. So we will be, during character generation, setting up our character, their starting stats, abilities, traits, etc. It's a pretty cool system. And then at the end of that, we're going to be selecting a ship to use. We're going to be getting a gigantic loan from the bank that we will have to pay off, and then we're going to start doing things. Primarily scavenging the local wrecks. We'll be flying our ship out to the wrecks and searching them for parts that we can rip out and then sell back at the starbase. And, lots of other things. It encompasses quite a bit. There's a lot going on. It's a little hard to explain without actually showing it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to actually show it. Now, before I get started, I do want to mention a few things. Somebody asked yesterday about the autosave options. And if you go to options and then general, you do have autosave settings here. You can set the time interval as well as how many autosaves it will keep track of. So there you go. That's great. Also in here, you can go to controls and you can set the controls up however you like. This isn't just a list of the controls. You can also change these. So for example, I've added the increase, decrease time scale. I put them on some mouse buttons, so it's a little easier to get to. And I also added Z to my keyboard presses for opening my player inventory. So you both view the controls as well as change the controls here in this section. And then secondly, this manual is really cool. So this gives a lot of information on a few different categories. You've got the basics section here, and it's really well put together. Our navigation console details, which I don't mostly need at this point. I'm slowly working my way through this stuff just to catch things I might have missed so far. And you can get to this in-game, I believe, as well. But, yeah, a lot of cool stuff in here if you want to get some more details on systems. Okay, we're going to go hit new. I've kept the final saves of Cody Keller was the one we did yesterday, 8 hours and 34 minutes. And then I was doing some just testing of some things. That's what this Levi Church guy is. I'm going to keep those two saved there, but we're going to start a brand new run. So let's get started. Okay, so it's kind of a choose-your-own adventure during character gen. I kind of mentioned yesterday that it reminded me a lot of the old Traveler RPG series or game from way back in the day, and I learned later after the stream yesterday that apparently that is the direct inspiration for the designer of the game. It was that Traveler RPG series. So, that's why it looked familiar. Okay, starting with pick a face. Pick a face. We are going to be a he, him. We are attracted to she, her. Randomize. Oh, look at that fine hairdo and mustache. Well, let's go a little different with our look this time. That'll work. That's fine. Aziz Barber, huh? All right, sure. We can be Aziz Barber. You can, of course, pick from all these variations if you would like to tailor make your character screen. So, let's go ahead and hit and done. And we jump into the details proper. There's a fair bit of text. It's all very well written. It sets up the backstory and such. I'll read some of it. I'm not going to read all of it at all times, but we'll cover a few things. So this is basically a med tech for the Corp checking us out, giving us the okay to, be released on our own recognizance, and probably necessary for us to get a loan. Basically, we have to prove we're healthy enough that we have a likelihood of paying off the loan. That's kind of what this is, and it sets who our biological mother and father are/were. We're 18 years old, and our home world is Azikiwi Station in Kaleg at 1036 Ganymede. 1036 Ganymede is the asteroid that the station is attached to. We have a net worth of $100. So rich. We also have a few skills and attributes. And this is going to be on the right side, kind of a running total of events that happen. So what's going to happen here is we're 18 now. We're going to be in a character generation process where we're going to make choices that cost us years. And through that, we're going to gain skills. We're going to learn things. We're going to gain contacts with various people, maybe get some enemies on our contact list. A lot of things can happen. Earn some cash and so on. We can choose to end character creation whenever we'd like. The older we get, meaning the longer we spend in this process, there are consequences. 30 is middle, starting into old age for these folks. They grew up in a 0G environment and have pretty terrible health stats and traits and negative conditions. And, it's a rough world out here. So we don't want to spend too long doing this stuff. But let's go ahead and hit the OK button. All right, so here's our choices. Now, Seek Adventure is going to give us a randomly drawn event. There's only a small number of events, like 10. I'm not sure if there's even 10, but there's a small number of events that can be drawn randomly. Once it's drawn, you're then given several different options on how you want to resolve or handle the event. And depending on which event and which option you pick, you'll get, like I said, money, skills, various things are going to happen. There's certain ones that I want to hit, and I want to get certain things from them. I'm somewhat familiar with a number of them now. There are particular skills we want to pick up before we actually start the gameplay itself. So I'm going to try to move through this a little fast. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to explain. It took like an hour plus to even get into our ship yesterday, so I don't want it to go that long this time. I'm going to try to get to the ship right away so I can show the actual main gameplay without it being 3 hours into the video series. Seek Adventure is how we do that. Notice it'll say here that it costs 1 year. So we're going to be randomly drawing an event, resolving it, and 1 year of our life will go by. And then we'll get whatever consequences and benefits and negatives from that. We can also click Work on Self. This will bring up a big, long spreadsheet of skills, abilities, traits, habits, etc. that we can directly pick from. So instead of randomly gaining and losing things in the adventure parts, we can just say, I want this skill, I want that skill, I want that trait, I want that habit, I want to get rid of this bad thing, and it will list how many years each of these are going to take. So that's how that works. Save some money. I don't think it's ever going to be a good idea to click on this. You can make money in-game way faster and easier and not have years go by doing it. You can make the same amount of money in literally 30 seconds in-game that it takes you a year in this screen to do. So don't currently click on this button. Seek a ship is the last thing we're going to do. That's where we're going to go actually pick out the ship that we're going to be flying around in, and it'll set the ship we get to start. It'll set our mortgage for the ship, etc. There's one particular ship I want and need because it's the only one I've actually played with so far, and unfortunately it's randomized between a few different hull types, and we could burn a few years trying to get to that specific ship. So we'll see. But let's go ahead and do some Seek Adventures, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right. All right. Yeah, you're giving up time for opportunity. It's all opportunity costs. The adventure is randomly getting stuff, and you have to go through it a few times to kind of understand what skills and stuff you're going to get. So once you're familiar with the adventure, certain things are quicker to get here. But if you want to fine-tune the character without the random aspect, you can pay extra years to get exactly what you want. And you can kind of mix the two as well. Weirdly, you can remove things you gained during the adventure portion and recover years, which is kind of odd to think about and to watch in action. I'll show it when we get to that point. So we got the rare salvage option. Yeah, so each event has a little storyline set up. And like I said, I'm not going to read everything. It's going to take me too long to do that. But it sets up the world fairly well, does a pretty good chunk of world building and scene setting and so on. So on day 4 of a break, you're welding through the wall compartment of this rare salvage hull that they brought in. And something catches our eye, a Miura intake regulator, apex of the defunct company's technical achievements. It's popular on the other markets too. Maybe Ayotamiwa doesn't need to know about this. So it's asking what we want to do. We can tell our corporate overlords about it. We can smuggle it through the black market. We can bribe our boss and split the profits, or smash it and feel alive. We're going to smuggle it through the black market with the goal of getting a black market contact that we can then buy and sell things through. So we get to the final part of the storyline. It's all too simple. Strip the part out, hide an RFID tag amidst the wreckage, chuck it on the garbage sled. When the sled reaches overflow processing, the junkyard of junkyards, as the locals would have it. Someone sufficiently bribed will find the part, remove it, edit the log, and reroute it back into the hands of one of K-Leg's many fences. You get a finder's fee and a fortnight of prudent paranoia, which soon subsides, such is life. So we gain a contact, Rita Proctor, a criminal from Mondi Azikiwe Station. And we also got an enemy, law enforcement officer enemy. So we gained a contact, we gained an enemy, we got $200, and we got skilled in street etiquette as a new skill. Next adventure. All right. Basically, the corpo cops are raiding the barracks, the econo apartments that we're living in. So we have a few choices that we can do. We can hide in an air vent. We can bluff our way through it. We have nothing to hide, or we can fake a pressure alarm. I'm going to fake a pressure alarm. I believe that gets us both hacking as well as the genius. So, yeah, we got hacking and genius. Hacking it seems to be an on-off thing. You want hacking because you've got a PDA you can use to break into things, door codes and electronic locks on some boxes and things like that. And I think genius is just a general modifier for how quickly you earn XP, I think. So we've done that one, and we got another couple $100 and got is that the old one? Yeah, whatever. And we got street etiquette. All right, so next up, another adventure. Okay, a labor barge locker. So basically, we have an opportunity to try to steal stuff from a locker. We can hack the lock. We already have the hacking skill, so I don't think that'll be useful. Cut a hole in it, mislabel it, or report the poor security to Ayotamiwa. I'm going to report it, actually. I don't need the money. So I did this one because it gives business admin and gives us the loyal trait. I think business admin helps with the estimation of value of property. So you'll see what I mean by that when we get in game. But I think that's what that does. All right, more adventures. Shady deal. Approached by a co-worker, less than legal method for making cash on the side. They've been tagging high-value salvage as junk. And then after the false tag, they leave the part on board the derelict and sell the location to the highest bidder. So somebody else can come along after the fact and grab it up. We can join the scheme because of our street march trait that we gained, but it is a risk. It could go bad. Gather intel for the cops, backstab them, report to Ayotamiwa, or instigate violence. I'm going to instigate violence. Do I want to instigate violence? I want to instigate violence. This gets us some combat skills, armed and unarmed melee combat. All right. Scuffle ensues, crowbars are involved, and then we get out of there. So we got a new enemy, a criminal, hopefully not the black market person. But we got skilled in armed melee and unarmed melee, as well as 900 bucks. I think that we're getting close to everything I care about for my basic skills. We got the combat skills, we got the hacking, we got the admin. Oh, I don't have... no, we need to keep going. I want to get the suits. Ah, crap. I didn't really want this one yet. This is an opportunity to get a free tiny starter ship without a mortgage. I don't want it. I'm going to do a run where we take this eventually, but for now, I'm going to purposely try not to get this. So we can either fold, call them on a technicality and get some cash, cheat, or grab the key and run. I'm gonna call them on the technicality. I think we just get some cash out of it. So 300 bucks and gambling skill, which I don't know if that actually has any effect. I haven't seen much gambling. I haven't gone looking for it, but I don't know if that really has anything going on. Come on. Where is... I need the one that gives me the EVA suits. Troubleshoot the engine. So, we got piloting and yet another 850 bucks. Come on, we're getting a little old. There we go, suit maintenance. The daily grind. That's the one I was waiting for. So we already have hacking skill. We already have combat skill. I don't remember. Ship spotting is going to go out and look for a ship, I think. This gets you the electrician engineering trait, electrical engineering, which I would like, but I need this one. I want the suit maintenance, and we'll probably end up having to buy this one for more years, unfortunately. That gets a skill in EVA suits. If you don't have this, once you don an EVA suit, which you will do as quickly as you possibly can, when you don't have the skill, you get a big slowdown in how fast you can do work while in an EVA suit when you're unskilled. This one's really important. We also got some physics skill, and we're patient, but we're finicky. More traits that are going to have various effects. All right, so we got EVA, we got hacking, we got combat. We don't have much in the way of engineering, so we're going to have to go spend a little bit of unfortunate amount of time working on ourselves to grab some engineering skills, and then we'll seek the ship, and we'll pray I get the ship I want quickly. If I get stuck doing like 8 years of looking for the one ship. This is the one thing I don't like about this process. I really think seek ship should cost... I mean, even if it costs 2 or 3 years set, but then it should list all the ship types and let you pick which one you want. I don't like that it's random and you can just go year after year after year after year and not get the one ship that you want. Yeah, that's the only part. Everything else fine, but I don't like that that's randomized. All right, we're going to work on self so you can see this screen. So it's a big screen. It's got a lot of stuff. These are all the skills, abilities, traits, etc. that we've been picking up during the Adventure Time stuff. So here we have armed melee with a thumbs up, a check. There are a number of engineering skills here at the top that I absolutely want. And the little boxes to the right, the white boxes, show how many years it's going to take to dedicate in order to get that. So if I take mechanical engineer, it's going to add 3 more years. I'm going to be 28 by the time we finish that. If I take... electrical engineer, same thing. Another 3 years. We're up to 6 years total. Feeble, unfit, light sleeper, poor hearing. Yeah. I'd love to get civil engineering, construction, robot engineering, but you know, we gotta not do some of these. But I wanted mechanical and electrical at least. Let's take a look. So like I said earlier, you can actually remove things you had previously selected or earned. So I'm not planning on getting into any unarmed melee. I'm going to be armed pretty much at all times. So we're at 6 years now. I can select this to remove it, and it got me back 2 years, which is the weird part. It just seems odd that it works this way. All right. I'm not interested in the hobbies at this time, although we could give some stuff back. Street etiquette, blend in with the criminal element. I'm going to remove that to get me another year. I think zero-G ops might be something that gives us modifiers that I do care about, so we'll leave that. What else we got? You can remove things. Right now we're finicky. We could remove that for the cost of 2 years. We're also unfit. We're unhealthy. We are... we're a light sleeper. Genius I want to keep. We're an immunosuppressed insomniac. Yum yum. Micro G hypovolemic. Poor hearing, slow metabolism, and patient are actually good things. And good old feeble. Feels like I'm playing Cataclysm again. Alright. So we're looking at a total cost of 3 years with the stuff that I got back. That puts me at 28. I don't mind going into my early 30s. I was hoping to stay below 30, but I don't mind going into my early 30s. I might pick up one more engineering skill. Probably civil. Yeah, let's do one more. So we're going to be 31 when we go to look for ships, and we're going to pray that I get the ship I want in a reasonable time frame. Okay. Yeah. All right, let's go for this. All right. Come on, please, random. Please be gentle with me. That is not the one I want. Continue career. Okay. Seek ship. Not the one I want. God, I hate this part. Yeah. This is the part I really don't enjoy. I have a save. One of those saves that I showed is me going through this, getting the ship I want, and I think I was 35 when I got the ship finally. So if we don't get it on this one, I'll probably just... We'll finish the getting loaded into the game, then I'll just load that save. Because this... I really dislike this. And again, randomly, not the one. There it is, finally. 1 year off, but yeah, look how much time I lost trying to get the Tetsudo Dream. 862,000 mortgage, payable every shift, which is every 6 hours. So, you know, multiply that by 4. That's our daily mortgage that we have to cover in order to get this thing paid off eventually. All right, so there you go. There's character generation. So we'll take that one. Hit OK. We are now ready. And we're in game. All right. I have paused or turned off the tutorial stuff so it doesn't get in our way. Yeah, we've muted tutorials and objectives. They're gone. So here we are. This is the station. Let me hit F1 to turn off some of the odd lighting stuff. This is the first area of the station. There's a number of different areas you can move between via a tram. This is the main one that you're going to be at. This is the port. This is our ship down here. We're starting off in the apartment that we have here on the space station. So if we zoom in, just a few brief things about the interface, and then we'll get moving. So this is our character here. We're currently paused. We have time control here. It's a pausable real-time game, and you can set the speed multiplier from 0.25, excuse me, 0.25 all the way up to 16x. So we can go quarter speed on up to 16x speed in letting time pass. So if we unpause and I click on the floor, I'll move. As you can see, we can interact with this light switch and toggle the power on so we can see the rest of my little apartment here. There's things on the floor. And if you're new to the game and you haven't seen it previously, it is the screen is busy, especially when we start looking at this kind of stuff. After a little bit of exposure and adjustment period, you do get used to it, and you start to understand what you're seeing. This across here is electrical conduit running across, so it's passing the electricity from one side of the room to the other. We got a refrigerator, we have a vent, we have a sink, we have a bed over there as well, another sink, a toilet, etc. A person doing some repairs, apparently, maintaining the wall there. So, let's pause again. We're going to do a few tasks around our apartment, and then we're going to get moving. We'll wend our way down to our ship eventually, but there are a few things I need to do. I need to grab a couple of things that are in the local area here, and it teaches you a few things. A tutorial series will lead you through some of these steps. We're going to go up here and install this conduit in the wall to complete an electrical circuit so we can power and open this door to get some items. Then we're going to come down here and throw a switch to power door to get the crowbar. Then we'll come over to the main area proper where we can get a license, buy things, sell things, etc. Then we're going to do some gig work. We're going to do some courier work, just some fetch quests here on the station, going from one location in the station to another to earn some cash, because we need about $5,000. Well, we need exactly 5,000 to buy a salvage license that lets us legally go out into the ship graveyard, the boneyard, to visit ships and rip apart components and repair them, bring them back, sell them, that kind of thing. You can do it without, but you run the risk of getting caught by the corpo security guards and getting fined and or jailed, as may occur. And once we've got some cash, we buy some basic tools and items, buy our license, then we're going to go to our ship, get some stuff done, then we'll undock and go do things. So I'll try to get this stuff done fairly quickly. Like I said, yesterday it took forever, and damn, we're already 27 minutes into this one, and I just got to the station. This takes so much longer than it seems like it should. All right, let me get moving again. No, I'm not going to follow the tutorial. I don't care about the tutorial anymore. It's not necessary. All right, so let's go ahead and these are some shoes and some coveralls. I'm going to go ahead and equip the coveralls. Oh, yeah, basic interface. To the left here, we have buttons. These are actually your PDA. So there's a PDA in my inventory, and the PDA has different buttons, things we can do, places we can go, info we can look at. I'll bring this up on occasion, but just realize that's what those buttons are for. I'll go through them in detail as we use them later. We have our character portrait. We have our little moodlets telling us our hunger and grooming and thirst and energy level and a bunch of stuff here. We have our cash, our player finances. Currently, we have, end of shift cash reserves is going to be $25 after we pay our mortgage at the end of our shift. So it shows our mortgage here. This is the payment amount per shift that we're going to be paying off on an $862,000 mortgage. Yeah, so we're not going to have much left over if we don't go earn some money, basically. The center section here is kind of a running total. It scrolls here of things that are happening as we're doing things. We have auto task and auto pause, which I'll explain later. We have our time control down here. And this bottom section shows the shift progression. So the work shifts. So there's 4 work shifts, 6 hours each. So shift 1, shift 2, shift 3, shift 4. And then there's a final 20-minute period that's added on to the end of the day to keep the numbers nice and even, that you're not allowed to assign work to. It's free time for everybody, basically. And that makes more sense later when I show the roster information and how you control workers. We can have crewmen that we can set to tasks and give sleep schedules and work schedules and play schedules to and all that, a la RimWorld and other colony builder type games. So that's that section there. And then the main interface is going to have a whole bunch of stuff going on. A lot of it is right-click to get interface options. So for the switch here, for example, I right-click on it and I toggle these options that I can choose from. I can press a number key as a hotkey to toggle that one, or I can click on it with the mouse. But in addition, if you look up here, there's more things in this square than just the switch. There's actually the switch, a floor space below it, and then the compartment details. So to get to things lower in the stack of that space, you just right click again. So a second right click, and now I've got the floor selected. a third right click, and now I've got the compartment selected. So anytime you've got stacked equipment or items, you just keep right clicking and it will get you specifically to the one you want. Be very careful that you know which one you're working with, because if I told it to uninstall the switch but didn't realize I had clicked too many times and I was actually on the floor and we uninstalled the floor, we would open this compartment to vacuum and immediately suffocate. So, be cautious, be careful. It's dangerous out here in space. All right, that's enough for the interface. You'll kind of pick things up as we go. I'm going to go ahead and equip the jumpsuit onto our character and bring up my inventory screen. So we've got a paper doll, and we've got our PDA in our hand. We've got a bag in the bag slot up here that's giving us these storage spaces. We got a few things. We got some cigarettes. I don't need the cigarettes. I don't care about the food items, so I'm going to put those on the ground below me. So this section here is the ground around me, and it shows open slots where I can drop things. So you can see the shoes here are the shoes here on the screen, and so on. So I've got various pockets. I don't need the drink pouch either. We'll ditch that. We'll put the PDA in a pouch there. Actually, let's keep it in our hand. All right. So we've emptied out all the pouches and everything. I'm actually going to get rid of this as well. All right, so some starting items. There are compartments or bins that we can look in that have stuff in them. So let's go to this rack over here and check the inventory. In this rack, if we move this over, we have another bag, which we'll put in our other hand. It gives us another stack or another slot for storing things. We also have a pressure suit and a pressure helmet. We'll put the helmet on later when we're, needing it. Next up, right here, we have a toolbox. We'll go take a look at the toolbox. For the toolbox, we have, we have the light in that. Let me pull these out of here real quick. I'm going to put the light in my hand instead. Okay, so the toolbox is showing these items. We've got a couple of basic tools and some disposable batteries. All right. I'm actually going to leave the toolbox. Toolbox is taking up 2 squares of space on the floor, but only has 3 internal spaces. That's not really a good ratio for containers. So, yeah, we're gonna leave the toolbox. We'll have better options a little bit later. Okay, I think that is everything we need for the moment. Let's go ahead and power this light on. We'll step outside. We'll get a little blurb about K-Leg. So, door to K-Leg station slides open. You're greeted by the familiar aroma of station vendor fare, spot prawn stir fry. It's very scene-settery. It's setting the scene, giving some backstory and all that. I'm not going to read through all of this right now. But it's pretty well done. It does a good job of kind of explaining the environment that you're in. All right, we're going to go do a few things. Let's move over here. I'm going to keep things at 1.0 speed for the moment. This is teaching us how to install this conduit. There's a conduit on the ground here at my feet. We're going to pick that up. And we're going to tell it to install the conduit at this location. He'll go to work on that. The X5 multiplier is an idea of how good you are at that. It's going to be based on skills that you took, like the engineering skills that we took during our character creation, as well as what tools you have and you're using. There's various qualities of tools, as well as some moodlet situations that might come up. So if we look at our character in detail here, we've got a lot of info on his screen here. These are the skills we currently have, and one of these was used in order to get that 5x multiplier for how long it was going to take. And then we've got a lot of other things, stats and traits that aren't easily changed, but some of this stuff up here, like respect, disrespected, this we can work on through social options that I'll do in a little bit. We're aimless, we're just feeling disrespected, etc. Sometimes those things can affect how quickly you work as well. So just be aware. All right. So now we have power to the door. So I have a hotkey I can press, the L key, or I can press the power visibility button over here. This shows where electricity is flowing, and we needed to add the conduit here in order to get the electricity to the door. So we should now be able to go interact with the door and open it. Walk into the room. How come my light turned off? Hey, light. You're supposed to be on. Do you not have your batteries? I guess I got to put the batteries in the light. Work lamp. Come here, you. There we go. All right, toggle power again. Yeah. All right. Now we can see. So there's a rack in here. So we'll go ahead and interact with the rack, inside of which is a stir welder, a Halverson friction stir welder, as well as a tack knife. So that'll give us something to fight with. All right, next thing, we're going to go over here. So by way of this, let's speed up time a little bit. So they want me to learn how to use this switch. We already learned how to do a switch, but whatever. All right, so the switch got power to the door. No, you're going to get me in trouble. Don't work on the station. All right. Now, the reason we're going here is to get a crowbar, which I'm going to need a little more space for. No, we can barely fit it. There we go. All right, we're not going to need the light anymore after this one, for now at least, so we'll pull that, put that in a pouch. Yeah, so we've got 2 spaces for inventory currently. So when you open your inventory, it will always show you the spaces directly around where your character is standing. So this ground position are all these spaces around where the character is currently at. Notice how the wall comes across and then goes down and over? That's what this is. So it's like 2 spaces in every direction, looks like. Yeah, 2 spaces in every direction around you that you can freely manipulate objects. You can also rotate objects with the R key to get them to fit. All right, let's go over to the station area here. That's fine. We'll walk around. We could have pried this door open, but it's good. Let's turn off power viz. It's kind of distracting. All right, hold up. So we've got 2,300 money. We need more. So I'm going to go run some gig courier jobs to earn some cash. And this is why these gig courier jobs are why I don't pay a lot of attention to money I make during character gen. I mentioned that you can make money really quickly doing this, and here's how it works. So one thing I'll say right up front, when you're going to run these gig jobs, slow time down. Ridiculously slow. Go down to the bottom one, 0.25. And the reason is time in this game is nuts. Just nuts. When we take one of these jobs, there's going to be 3 payout possibilities. Silver, gold, and diamond, or whatever. There's 3 possibilities. In order to earn the highest possibility of the payout, you have to get there extremely quickly. And by extremely quickly, I mean it'll tell you you have like 8 seconds to get the job done. To get from this location to another location on the station and turn the mission in. I'm not joking. You'll see what I mean here in a second. So the difference in payout can be like quadruple. The worst payout to the best payout. So if you have this on any speed other than the absolute lowest, even taking a second to move your mouse across the screen to click on the interface to then right click and then pick the option you want could have so many seconds go by in game at one of the accelerated rates that you lose out on the good payout. It's weird. It's goofy. It's total gamified nonsense. But watch what I mean. I'll show you exactly the details, where to look, how to know, and so on. So I've got us paused and slowed down. Now to interact, I have to unpause. in order, because it takes time to interact with the kiosk and so on. You'll see a progress bar. So I'm going to right click on it. We have two options that we're paying attention to. Use is going to get us the screen showing what jobs are available. We can browse them. We can pick from them to take a gig. And that can all be done while paused. But you have to unpause to get to the screen. When it will pause on its own, we can browse and do our things. But when we get back out again, we want to make sure we're paused again, because then we're going to be doing courier deliveries. So then we need to right click and choose the other option, which is access locker. We have to pull the item they want us to deliver out of the locker, put it on our inventory. Then we'll get moving to the other location. We take it to another Gig Nexus terminal in one of the other spots in the station. We put it in the locker, go to the use screen, and then claim the reward. So a bunch of steps during which we have to have time running during certain portions of them. Other portions we want to absolutely make sure we're paused, because literal second or two can mean the difference between getting paid $500 for a job and getting paid $2,000 for a job. All right, so we're paused. We're at 0.25. First, we're going to go to use. It unpaused automatically to bring us to this screen. Then it paused again. So we're watching these buttons here and making sure the clock is not moving. This is the list of jobs. We're going to be pushing buttons to move up and down the list. And then this will be the details of whichever one we've got highlighted. So what we're looking for are courier jobs, just like the one that's first on the list here. This one, I'm looking at these two entries. Pickup locker is K-Leg, Old Emporium District. That's not the place we're at currently. We're at the port. So they want us to go to the Old Emporium gig kiosk, pick an item up, and then take it to the commercial gig kiosk. So these are two other locations we have to take a tram to. We've got a heavy hitting. There's another courier mission here, but it's 100,000 to 800,000. So that's going to be taking objects or something to a totally other, literally get in a spaceship, fly to another place, which could take God knows how long, and then getting paid a huge amount of money. That's not the kind of courier mission we want. We want these cheap courier missions that are here on the station. So these two are not going to work. We'll scroll down the list here. Looking like that's the only one that we're going to be able to do. Investigate death, heavy hitting again. Yeah. All right. So this is the only one currently on the list. I have never not had one of these cheap courier jobs on this list. Even if I go do this one, it'll immediately generate another one. So you can just keep running these K-Leg locker missions over and over again for cash. If we get the best reward, we'll get 1336.72. Now look at the payout information and the duration here. So this is the worst. Well, I guess technically this is the worst reward, but this is the best. This is what we're going for. We have 20 seconds from the time that this is accepted to complete this. Now, we're not going to accept it here. We're going to go to Old Emporium, take the mission there, immediately pick up the item, go to the commercial district, and drop it off. So the timer is not starting right now. We just know that we need to go here to get started. But yeah, 20 seconds to pick an item up out of the locker, walk to a tram, get on the tram, travel to another part of the station, get off, get to the kiosk, put the item in the locker, and then say we finished the mission. 20 seconds. It's nuts. It makes no sense, but whatever. So this is why I stress. Make sure that you're paused and make sure you're at the absolute slowest speed if you want to get that reward. All right, so we're going to go over to Old Emporium. So we're done in here. Now we need to... All right. Why are you not zooming out? Weirdo! Sometimes it seems like the zoom gets stuck and it won't back out. So this is the transit. So I'm going to say go to the transit. We're not on the timer right now, so we'll go ahead and speed things up. These are the choices. Commercial, Estates, Port, and Old Emporium. I don't think I've ever gotten anything telling me to go to Estates. So it's going to be Port, Old Emporium, and Commercial that we're going to be traveling between. Whoops, now I forget which direction it went. Was it commercial to Old Emporium, or was it Old Emporium to commercial? I've already forgot. All right, each time you go to a new section, you get a little storyline describing the section. I'm not going to get into that. So the kiosk is right around the corner, luckily. Oops. Kiosk, use. All right, Courier. Okay, I remembered. So Old Emporium to commercial. So we got it right. All right, so this is where we're going to hit accept. We're going to say take gig, this button here. And as soon as we get out of the screen, we've got to make sure we stay paused. So it unpaused us. It puts us back into real time. So I immediately paused again. Let's get back down to 0.25 speed. Now we need to pull the item out of the locker, which is going to unpause us while it cycles the time frame for that. I'm going to pause again. We're going to grab the item, put it in our tote bag here. And we're paused at 2.5. Now I'm going to give the command to go to the transit. Actually, it's still in the access locker mode. All right, now it's done. Access transit. And I am not going to increase this movement speed, much as I would like to speed up this little animation. Now it's going to automatically take the transit or bring us to that screen when we get to it. But you can see the progress bar as it accesses it. All right, and we're going to commercial. It's going to still be damn it. It's still going to be an hour at least before I get on the damn ship. But I got to do this stuff. All right, commercial details. Yeah, we don't care. Pause again, quickly. All right, we're paused for 0.25. There it goes with the not wanting to zoom out again. It's weird. I think it's when I first load into an area, it doesn't want to zoom out. All right, again, we're going to access locker this time. And I can pause it, and we have a gigs button here in our app. So, oops, gigs. I can click on it for details. We have 11 seconds left, so we've used 9 seconds of the 20, so we're still on track for the best payout. We should make it, but this is where I absolutely stress. It's an easy way to make money, but you got to be very, very hard on the pausing and the speed controls. So this is a little boring while we wait for this. Other things I can press G on the keyboard for the gas mix on the location that we're in or whatever I'm pointing at. So we've got 80 kPa nitrogen, 22 kPa oxygen. Blue is nitrogen, green is oxygen. That's the standard mix, basically. L is the electrical visibility. There's a few other ones. All right, let's start paying attention again. All right, locker is open. We put the item in. Close. And use. All right, we're in. It paused automatically. So now I can say my gigs. It shows the gig, and I can turn it in. And we got the platinum tier payout. So we got the highest payout. All right, open gigs. Courier, big money, big money, big money. Investigate death. All right, there's the cheap courier. So every single time there's been one of these cheap courier missions. This time it is the port where we started to commercial. So we got to go back to the port to start it. All right, we can kick the time back up. Back to port we go. I'll try to do this a little faster. All right. It was, yeah, that one. Port to that. So take gig, close screen, make sure we're paused. See, I had it on ×2 speed. I already screwed up. I let a few seconds or a second go by at ×2 speed. So we already lost some of my time. Access locker. So the goal, I need to get 5,000 for a license, and then hopefully have 1,000 or so left for buying some tools, and then we can head out. All right. Ooh, 7 seconds. I want my platinum tier. I lose half the money, basically, if we drop down a tier. Ah! Damn it. I somehow didn't make it. I knew I was going to pay for that one tiny mistake. It's so tightly spaced timing-wise. Even the smallest error when you're on your time speed gets you screwed every time. Well, that wasn't cool. All right, what do we got? Next payout is Old Emporium to commercial. I keep not getting lucky and not getting the one for where I'm at. I just got platinum. So yes, there is platinum for the short courier missions. We just got one. I just happened to fail that one. We got 12 seconds this time to get the final payout. But we should be okay this time. Well, we were going to be okay until it stopped moving. What did I click on that you stopped moving? Now I'm annoyed. Yeah, I lost a couple seconds. God damn it, stop! What? Oh, he's still going. All right. I wasn't hearing the movement noise. Ah, 4 seconds. We may not make it. Again, Razor's Edge. Platinum tier payout. Okay. Next one is Old Emporium back to the port. Just need to do a couple more and we'll be good. Assuming I hit platinum on each of them. $16 seconds. All right. I think one more should do it. Autosave was occurring in the middle of that. Almost $2,000 payout. Old Emporium commercial again. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't think you can ever afford... We might not make this one either. I don't think you can ever afford to speed that up. It doesn't seem to move at the right speed for the time factor involved. Well, it seems like we lost some time there. Alright, we still managed to get the platinum. Alright, that should be enough. Yay! So we're done with that stage. There it goes with the... I'm trying to scroll out and it doesn't want. It's like it has a ceiling it bounces off of. That is so weird. Alright, time to speed things back up again. Back to the port and we'll do some useful stuff finally.
Like, visit our ship and do the main part of the actual game.